What's up, everybody? So, all leagues are back in the final leg of season 4 in Go Battle League, and we are going to be jumping into some Great League battles. And in today's video, I've got a really spicy team comp, basically consisting of Alolan Marowak with Shadowbone, which is its new exclusive move from the raid day on Halloween. And then we have Sirfetch'D, which is going to be the first time we're going to be trying it out in the Open Great League. And there's been so much hype around it. It's ranked very high on PvPoke across all leagues, and I was super excited to try it out. And then I have my favorite Pokemon to use in PvP, which is Shadow Swampert. Now, Shadow Swampert is a staple in most of my Great League team comps. It's just so OP and such a fantastic closer, especially when you can save shields for it. And overall, this team has such great balance and coverage against most of the meta. The only Pokemon which could be an issue is an Altaria, because none of these Pokemon have great matchups against an Altaria. But then again, you don't see as many Altaria these days. Especially with the rise of Galarian, Stunfisk, and Azumarill, etc. I haven't seen too many Altarias in Season 4, but then again, if you run into an Altaria, it's going to be pretty tricky to get around that, but it can handle most of what you're going to see, right? It can almost handle everything else, so some exciting battles in here, and let's just get straight into it. Okay, moving on to the first battle here. I'm going to be leading with Alolan Marowak, with Sirfetch'D and Shadow Swampert in the back. And also, it's one of those sets where I managed to win the lead in most of these battles, which kind of worked in my favor. So we have Alolan Marowak into Skarmory, very favorable matchup because we're doing super effective damage with these fire spins. They make a switch into their Swampert and I go straight into Sirfetch'D here. Now, even though this is a pretty positive matchup for us, I definitely have to shield the Hydro Cannon because it's going to do quite a bit of damage, because Sirfetch'D is pretty glassy in the Great League. So I'm going straight for the Leaf Blade here. This is going to one-shot the Swampert if it goes unshielded. Let's see what they decide to do here. They do let that go through, which is fantastic. And Skarmory comes back in, and I'm hoping that I can get to a close combat, but they decide to throw their charge move, which is absolutely fine as well. I'm going to let this go through because even though we're down a shield, we have switch advantage, so that's actually pretty positive. So I'm going to come in with my Marowak immediately because their switch timer is not back up yet, and I want to do as much damage to the Skarmory as possible before they can switch out. They do shield the Shadowbone, which is absolutely fine, and I'm not going to shield this because if it's a Sky attack, we can definitely survive it. I definitely want to preserve at least one shield for my Swampert towards endgame there. So when I'm going for the Bone Club, I probably could have built up to a Shadowbone and then gone for it, but let's see what they decide to do here. They actually do shield that up, and now I'm going to try and Fire Spin farm this thing down, but unfortunately we get farmed down and they have so much loaded energy right now, and I'm definitely going to shield this because Shadow Swampert is pretty glassy. So yeah, and I'm hoping that whatever they have in the back is weak to Swampert, and they have a Cherrim in the back, so this is not a great situation to be in. But then again, Swampert with an energy advantage can pretty much one-shot most grass types, right? So I'm going straight for the Sludge Wave here. This is going to one-shot the Cherrim, and then now it's just a race to the charge move. Hopefully we can get to a Hydro Cannon first, and we do get it in time. And again, this is going to finish off Skarmory to take the win there. So as you can see, Swampert, again, towards endgame is such a solid closer. Even against grass types, it can pretty much one-shot most grass types when shields are down. Of course, you don't want to be running into Razor Leaf users, but anything else, it can pretty much one-shot it, right? Even Razor Leaf users, but then you probably might not survive long enough to get to a Sludge Wave, but for the most part, it works. So moving into the second battle, we have Alolan Marowak into a Venusaur. Again, very favorable because we resist both grass and poison moves. So Marowak is a complete wall to Venusaur here. And they make a switch into their Azumarill, and I go straight into Sirfetch'D. So again, this is a pretty positive matchup for us. Obviously, I do have to watch out for Play Rough, which is going to one-shot Sirfetch'D if it goes unshielded. So I'm going straight for the Leaf Blade. It's going to do about 50% of Azumarill's health. And as you can see, these counters are definitely adding up, right? Even though it's resisted, it's doing a lot of damage to a tank like Azumarill, which is pretty impressive. They go for the Ice Beam, which is absolutely fine. I'm going straight for the Leaf Blade here. Let's see if this gets the first shield from the Azumarill. It does get the shield there, and hoping that I can get to the second Leaf Blade before they can get to a charge move. So I'm definitely going to shield this because I have to win switch advantage. I can't, have my Swampert go up against their Venusaur. So I'm going to overfarm a little bit and then throw the Leaf Blade. Let's see if they want to give up their final shield in this matchup. They actually let that go through, which is fantastic because it's even though we have no more shields, this is absolutely fine because Marowak doesn't need shields to beat Venusaur. So I'm actually going to come in with Swampert against their Skarmory here. Even though Marowak has a pretty positive matchup against it, I'd rather have Swampert here because I want to save the Marowak for the Venusaur. They actually are still staying in, which is pretty surprising. And now I'm going straight for the second Hydro Cannon here. And this is going to do about 50% of Skarmory's health if it goes unshielded. And now they make a switch into their Venusaur, and I go straight into my Alolan Marowak. I knew they were going to do that. They had loaded energy, so I caught the Frenzy Plant with Marowak, which is pretty good. And now I'm going straight for the Shadowbone. Probably could have farmed a little extra, but then again, I don't want to get hit by another Frenzy Plant. So I'm going for the Shadowbone, and now I can Fire Spin down. And then, yeah, probably should be able to get to... Actually, I probably should have gone for the Shadow Bone, to be honest. I was kind of a couple of fire spins away from it, but I go for the Bone Club. Actually ends up being a CMP tie, I think it is. Actually, they lag a little bit, but it's absolutely fine. I think that was a CMP tie. So, yeah, they're going to go for the Sky Attack here. And now it's just a race to the charge move. Can we get to a Hydro Cannon before they can get to a Sky Attack? And we're able to get to a Hydro Cannon again. And Swampert coming in super clutch to close out another game there. So, again, with that energy generation, with Mud Shot, getting off, being able to spam Hydro Cannons, which is it's just so ridiculous. It is basically broken, right? It doesn't matter which league you're playing in. Swampert is just such a staple in pretty much most team comps. So we are 2-0, I think, in this set. So let's move into the third battle. Going pretty well so far. Like I said, I managed to win leads in most of the battles that I did in this set, which kind of worked in my favor. But we have Marowak into a Jirachi. Once again, very favorable lead. Let's see what they decide to do here. They make a switch into their Poliwrath, and I'm going straight into my Sirfetch'D. So again, in this matchup, Leaf Blade would hit for super effective. And I'm going to shield this up because I don't want to get hit by a dynamic punch. It is just an ice punch. Probably could have let that go through, but even then that would have done quite a bit of damage as well. But they actually decided to leave the game. Not sure why. They probably had something in the back which is weak to Marowak or something. Or probably they didn't have answers to Sirfetch'd. I'm not sure what went on there. But anyways, we'll take it. Moving into the fourth battle. Let's see if we can win the lead again. Again, if you can win the lead with the Steam Comp, you're pretty much going to win in most situations, as long as they don't have an Altaria, right? Again, very favorable matchup up against a Shadow Victory Bell. They make a switch into their Obstagoon. This is beautiful. Sirfetch'D is absolutely going to delete the Obstagoon here. Obstagoon is double weak to fighting because of the dark and normal typing, and it's just farm city right now, right? I can just completely farm this thing down and then have a close combat ready to go. Expecting the Victory Bell to come back in. So I'm going to go straight to the close combat here. Now, even though this is resisted, it's still going to do quite a bit of damage and also has stab coming from a Sirfetch'D and does get the shield from the Victory Bell, which is understandable because we have switch advantage and that's all that counts, right? So I'm going to come in with Marowak and try and completely farm this Victory Bell down. Now, even though Razor Leaf is resisted, it's still doing a lot of damage because that's just how good Razor Leaf is. Leaf Blade is going to come through, and yeah, at this point I probably should have thrown the Bone Club here right now because I thought I could farm them down, but unfortunately we go down first. This is dangerous, right? Because as you can see, one Razor Leaf does about 20 to 25% of Swampert's health, but luckily we have two shields and we're up against a Galarian Stunfisk, and this is GG's. There's nothing they can do at this point because even if they bait twice with Rock Slide, we can definitely win this matchup, right? So I'm going to shield this. I'm not going to risk it. Like I said, they basically need to bait twice with Rock Slides and then go for the Earthquake, but we should definitely get to another Hydro Cannon before they can do that. So I'm actually going to build up a little extra energy because I don't think one Hydro Cannon is going to take it out. So I'm going to build up to two and then go back to back if need be. Going to shield this Rock Slide, which is absolutely fine. And then going to build up a little extra energy and then go straight for the Hydro Cannon here. From this range, it should pretty much take it out, probably. One of them should be enough. And yeah, it's just enough. And that kind of takes it out there again. Because Galarian Stunfisk is so prominent, so many people like to use it as a closer. That's another reason why running Mud Boys like Whiscash and Shadow Swampert in particular can be like really handy, or even regular Swampert for that matter, right? So we are 4-0 in this set. We managed to win lead every single time, like I mentioned. Let's move into the final battle. We have Alolan Marowak into a Bellossom. Once again, fantastic lead. Everything Bellossom has is resisted by Alolan Marowak. They make a switch into their Galarian Stunfisk and I go straight into my Shadow Swampert. This is fantastic because now I can make sure that my Swampert gets to avoid the matchup against their Bellossom. And then they do shield the Hydro Cannon, which is pretty interesting because there's no way they're going to win this matchup. I'm going to shield this up because I don't want to get hit by an Earthquake. They're probably going to just bait with Rock Slide, which is absolutely fine because I'm going straight to the next Hydro Cannon here. Let's see if they want to give up their second shield. But yeah. They actually let that go through, which is absolutely fine. They're probably going to come back with Bellossom and throw a charge move. This is going to be Leaf Blade, which is going to one-shot Swampert, which is absolutely fine because now I can come in with my Alolan Marowak and completely farm this thing down here. I'm expecting them to switch, but they're still staying in, which is pretty interesting because everything that Bellossom has is resisted by Alolan Marowak because of the fire typing. And it is just a Leaf Blade, which is absolutely fine. And then I'm going to try and completely Fire Spin, farm this thing down. We are capped on 100 energy, so I decided to throw the Bone Club anyways because these Leaf Blades would definitely start adding up, as you can see there. So I'm going for the Bone Club here to do some chip damage. Then hopefully I can Fire Spin down and have a lot of loaded energy to throw at whatever's in the back. And I'm going to try and completely Fire Spin down here. Let's see what they have in the back. And they have an Alolan Marowak in the back. I'm going straight for the Shadow Bone. Now, even though they have a shield, they're probably going to think I'm going to bait with Bone Club. But I'm going straight for the Shadow Bone here. It does, again, super effective damage. And now because they didn't shield that, now I can go for the Bone Club. They're probably going to be forced to shield this because it's going to take it out if it goes unshielded. And this is fine, right? Now, I'm hoping I can get to another Bone Club here, which we're able to just in time. They're probably trying to farm us down, but it's absolutely fine because, again, we're able to take it out with Bone Club there. So that's actually pretty tricky because I had Sirfetch'D in the back, which obviously doesn't have a great matchup against Alolan Marowak. I had to depend on my Alolan Marowak to get rid of it, but luckily we're able to land the Shadow Bone and take the win there. So as you can see, it's a 5-0 set. Yes, partly because I won the lead every single time, but then again, this team is really solid, guys. I did like another set with it where I went 4-1 and I kind of lost the lead twice, and we were still able to recover from that. Of course, Altaria can be, very difficult to sort of get past, but other than that, you can handle almost everything else. So once again, thank you so much for watching. I'm super excited. Flying Cup tomorrow. I've got a lot of interesting teams to showcase as well, so hopefully I can get that video out early tomorrow as soon as the Flying Cup starts here, and I'm super excited for that. Again, another brand new meta, so much to look forward to. So I'll see you tomorrow.